Here's a brief but annoying message to let you know that you could have first heard this episode 9 months ago if you were a subscriber to our Iron Filing Society Patreon offering.
For the price of a pint and a St Clement's each month, you can get up to 4 episodes a week, 9 months before the rest of the world gets them. Early access to regular episodes, lots of other marvellous benefits, and there's absolutely no adverts or brief but annoying messages like this that will get right on your ticks.
Find out more and subscribe now at tftimemachine.com/ironfilings.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go, this is it!
This is Top Flight Time Machine. I am Andy Hopbody Dawson. Pow, pow, pow.
I'm Sam Nifty Delaney, so what?
Welcome along. It's another Life Logistics for you. Some of your queries are going to be answered, and we're going to hand out some logistics that we've just, uncovered in our regular lives. Yeah. For example, I've just popped into the local Tesco Express, and they've now got the Costa coffee machine as part of the meal deal. I've noticed a lot of people doing that recently. The Costa coffee machine do it as well. The Costa coffee machine is taking over, mate. It's really like I never when the coffee wars broke out many years ago now, I never backed Costa as a potential winner. I didn't. I find their coffee too hot. I find it often too bitter, and I find their cups not so nice to grip. There's a meaty... I've got one here, can you see it? Yeah, it's too meaty. There's a padding to it, and I believe that's why the coffee stays hot so long. When I get a Costa coffee... It's insulation, yeah. When I get a Costa coffee, if I'm in the car, it's very often when I'll get a Costa coffee... Fucking caffeine Timmy. Yeah, right. I'll be like driving along, usually... Too hot! If we're on tour, and I'll think, I'll have a sip of that coffee I bought now, and then I think, no, it's a Costa, leave it at least another hour before you attempt sipping, especially when you're in control. Especially when you're in control of the, when you're in control of a vehicle. If you burn, if you're going at high speeds on a motorway and you burn your lips and tongue, right, then you could lose control and just fucking cause a pile up, right? So for me, I never thought Costa would win the coffee wars. But I tell you what, with these machines that are popping up everywhere, I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna fucking clear all the others out. And adding them into the meal deals as well, because I think a Costa coffee is about £2.70. Yeah. And your meal deal is usually about £3.50. Yeah. So, the rest of it's almost free. You can get double whisper in the one in Tesco. Yeah. I've gone prawn sandwich, latte. Yeah. And double whisper for £3.40. Are you holding off until lunch, or is this your mid-morning meal deal? This is me coffee for mid-morning. Right. And the prawn sandwich is going to be lunchtime. And what about the whispers? You don't have to have it all at the same time. It's not in the rules. It is in my mind. Spread it out. Well, yeah. The whisper, I might have that with a cup of tea this afternoon. I always have a mid-afternoon cup of tea. Fucking hell. I could have the whisper with that. I'll tell you what. You're a more disciplined man than I am, because that would just... well, I wouldn't be able to... Is this news? But then again, everyone has their own rules, don't they? I remember going for a curry at my mate's house once, years ago. I always remind him of this. And we got a takeaway curry, and it was me, him, and his missus. And he ordered it, and it came with, the little paper bag of Poppadoms that you get, don't you? A nice little square paper bag of Poppadoms, yeah? And the curry comes, and I start unpacking it onto his kitchen table, right? And I start serving it up into a plate. And then I get my fork, about to fucking scoop the first lovely mouthful of curry into my gob. And he literally went, "Sam!" And I went, "What?" And he went, "Sam," like the house was on fire. I went, "What?" He went, "Poppadoms first," right? And I'm like, fuck off. What are you fucking talking about, Poppadoms first? Yeah, we got to have Poppadoms first. I said, hang on. If you're in a restaurant, they bring you the Poppadoms first. I accept that, right? And you sit there and you nibble on a Poppadom while you're waiting for the main food to come. Fine. That's the way it works in a restaurant. Do you think I'm going to impose the restaurant's rules upon my own curry eating in the home? All right, it's your home. And he did make a point. He goes, yeah, but this is my home. This is how we do it. And I said, yeah, but you're just a fucking rule obsessive. You're just rules. Exactly, you're following home Lampard. Yeah, you're fucking mindlessly following a rule that has been established by curry houses, right?
but they're not fucking starters. They're fucking eat what you want when you want. You can eat pudding before your fucking dinner if you really want. It's your fucking house. He practically pissed his knickers over it, and I remind him of that all the time. Because now he's back down. Now he'll try and.
Yeah, I mean, pretending though.
He's easily swayed. Like the other day, I was at his house, and he went, "Do you want a cup of tea?" And I went, "Yeah." And he drinks what I call baby tea, right? Baby tea is when it's quite milky.
Really milky. Does he have sugar in it as well?
Probably, yeah. Oh, he does. Yeah, he does.
Two sugars.
No, he has. Oh, just one. I'm cutting down. Fuck off. Well, you haven't any sugar anymore. What are you fucking drinking tea for? Right.
My son has 2 sugars in his tea, but he's 15 and that's all right.
That's all right
because he's getting into tea.
That's child tea.
Child's tea, not baby tea.
Yeah. And anyway, he goes, and so he made me this tea. And I looked at it, and it was really strong, right? Because I have lectured him, I've bullied him about his tea making over the years. We've been mates for decades, right? And I've been like, mate, don't do what you want in your own life with your own tea drinking. I can't say I approve, but it's your life. But I will silently judge you. But do not ever serve me a cup of tea like the one you make for yourself. So now he goes the other extreme. I have strong tea, but he's like, there's literally like a pipette load of milk in this tea, right? So it barely colours the tea at all. So I go, well, actually, even for me, that's a bit strong, but fine. And then I looked at his, and I was like, quite strong for you, mate. And he went, yeah. And then he went, I'll be honest, though, I only made it like that because you were here. I said, you adjust your own tea now for when I'm here. He goes, yeah, because I just can't be bothered with you fucking ranting at me. So I just make a tea. He goes, I won't enjoy that much, but it's just simpler.
How do you feel about that, Sam?
I just think it's pathetic.
How do you feel about how you've made him feel about his tea?
I think he needs to grow up a bit, to be honest, about the tea that he chooses to drink. But also, once he's made...
This isn't about him, Sam. This is about you. No. Sam Delaney, tea bully.
I've expressed my views about his tea. What is weird
repeatedly?
What is weird is that he cares so much about what my point of view on his tea decisions are. And that's for him to... that's for him to deal with. Like, people judge you all the time. I'm judged constantly, right? And ultimately, on my journey... right, I have discovered that you just have to, like, stop caring about the judgments of others, right? So, actually, it's his problem.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Like, there's always going to be cunts. Yeah, and in this situation, I might be the cunt for judging his tea, right? Fine. But there's always going to be some cunt judging you. You can't just stop anyone ever judging. Even nice people, even your mates. All you can do is control your response to that. Right. So in some ways, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, has sent me into his life to judge his tea choices. And he has to learn, and that's as to sort of teach him, listen, set your own boundaries, make your own decisions. You do you. Don't make a cup of tea you're not going to enjoy just to fucking win the approval of that cunt, the cunt being me.
Delaney,
right? So the same thing happens to me. I mean, when you stop drinking, there'll always be cunts going, what are you not drinking for? Why don't you have a problem? What's the matter with you drinking water, you big pansy? And actually, when you're younger, that sort of stuff, even if they don't say it as aggressively as that, amongst the lads, sometimes that does bother you. And then you just think, I don't give a shit what anyone says. I'm just going to not drink. And it's the same when it comes to your tea decisions. That said, I can't see myself... With a grown man drinking milky, sugary tea, I can't. I'm a big believer in live and let live, but I can't see.
You can't let that pass.
I can't see myself ever. I can learn to let it pass. I should learn, but but inside, will I ever stop silently judging a man for drinking tea that way? I'm not sure I can.
No, I don't blame you.
I'm not sure I can.
I don't blame you. I think. It's not a competition, but there's a little bit of blame on both sides there, I think.
Yeah, there is. Usually is the case in all situations.
Yeah, of course.
But then, this is the same guy, Sam Poppadom's first. But I won't
he's learned from
to
that one. Unless when you're not there, he goes back to Poppadom's first. He probably does.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Did I tell you my Poppadom rule?
No, what? I hope there's a rhyme that goes with it, but go on.
We can work on one. I think there's room for one.
Yeah.
I always collect the curry that I like from my favourite curry takeaway place, which is called Roushouni, by the way, in Grangetown. Sunderland people get on it. And I always collect it because I can't be asked to wait for delivery because it takes too long.
Yeah.
I always go and get it.
The ceremony of collection is quite pleasant. You go in, you smell the aromas, you chat to the lads. If you're early, sometimes they'll give you a free drink and maybe even a free Poppadom, a solitary Poppadom.
Well, I always get the 4-course set meal.
Ooh.
Right, and as well as that, I get 2 Poppadoms.
Yeah,
two large Poppadoms.
Yeah.
And it's about a 7 to 10 minute drive home from Roushouni to where I live. And the Poppadoms get eaten in the car.
Love it.
By the time I'm home, Poppadom's all gone. That's the start.
You can't beat a car Poppadom, you're right. And I rarely pick up a Poppadom, but now you're talking about it, I'm like, I might start doing that again. I used to like that. Now it's all Uber Eats, isn't it? But it is nice driving out, sit. Sometimes you chat to the lads in there, and then you sit. I like the smell. They don't play as much Indian music in a lot of the curry houses as they used to, but I used to like that as well. If I heard the old sitar, it still now, even if I'm just listening to a casual bit of George Harrison music, it literally makes my mouth water.
It's evocative.
It is. Yeah. It triggers my taste buds. Right? It does. The sitar triggers my taste buds still now. So, but not many do it anymore now. A lot of, especially down there, a lot of the curry houses have gone modern and trendy. Yeah,
they'll have a telly and they'll have like one of the music channels on or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Sky News.
Or worse.
It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's not the same. But Poppadoms, and I've developed, there's actually an art to changing gear while having part of a Poppadom in your hand without it breaking. Because it can so easily break while you're changing gear. And you've got to just get the grip just right. And I've managed to master that through.
Why don't you just hold the Poppadom in your mouth?
So, well, I don't want to do that because it looks disgraceful. You know what I mean? You're driving along with a Poppadom in your mouth.
I love using my mouth as a third hand. I always have done.
I'm a well-known local figure now because of the podcasts and everything.
They'll get a photograph of you and it'll be in the Sunderland Echo.
Hanging out me gob.
Podcaster. So, you'd get, knowing your luck, next thing you know, you'd be hauled up on a charge at the local cop shop.
Probably, someone will take a photograph, it'll go viral.
Dawson's in again. What is it now? Violation of road safety. He's been eating a Poppadom. We've got photographic evidence. They'll be like that. Though, when you walk in, I've been asked to present myself. Oh, Andy, man. Again. What have we talked about it? I know, man, but everyone's looking at me these days like just the tiniest slip up and there, bang, they're on me like vultures.
And I'm on the internet, Twitter, viral. Technically speaking, though, having the Poppadom in your mouth is the safest option.
Yeah,
isn't it? Holding it in your mouth because then your hands are free.
Yeah.
So if you could just hold it in your mouth and just gradually nibble it and just intake it, just very slowly by nibbles without dropping it. There's an art to that as well, I guess. Could practice that. What we do, we're doing live logistics. Hopefully this episode will work this time and there won't be the problems that we had with the Monday episode.
Robot voice.
Where I had to edit it and you sounded like, a few people commented, the aliens from the Smash advert.
My favourite ever adverts, probably.
One or two people complained, Sam.
I saw someone say, I gave it 6 minutes, unlistenable, gave up.
Yeah.
0 out of 5.
There's another one. You should have maybe left this in the archive. You know what? We don't usually do Bank Holiday Monday episodes anyway. We just thought we'd do one for a change to be nice.
Yeah.
So you've lost nothing.
Yeah, don't like it. Don't listen. Go and listen to a different podcast.
Listen to one of the other 1,500 episodes that we've done instead.
Go out and listen to the birds singing. That's much better.
Go listen to the fucking Jake Humphrey podcast instead.
Yeah, you won't catch him making technical fuck-ups with robotic voices, not unless he meant to.
Never happen. I've just recorded. Just want to know, I've recorded an episode this morning, but there's a technical issue. and there's some kind of robot voice noise there, and I have saved the episode to a USB stick, and I will be burning it in my garden, along with some garden rubbish later this evening. I wanted you all to know that.
Because that simply does not conform to my high-performance ethos. If it's actually subpar, below subpar, whatever that is, performance, and that's not the Humphrey way.
Proud to have put out that episode because it's the antithesis of Jake Humphrey's high performance.
Yeah.
We might do them all like that from now on.
Yeah, they're all going to be like that.
In our ongoing attempt to whittle this down to one true listener.
So, mate, a life logistics going on in my life. In fact, had you finished? Had you finished the story about your Costa coffee?
I'm not sure because it's
meal deal, Costa coffee machine.
Meal deal, Costa coffee, £3.40. Costa prawn sandwich, double whisper.
Good logistics,
bargain. And of course, if you've got the Costa app, you also collect beans. And once you've collected 7 beans or 8 beans, you get a free Costa coffee from the Costa shop. I
went up the storage yesterday. When I'm embarrassed to say how much I discovered with a cursory check of my bank statement, which is something I do not regularly enough, clearly, how much they had fucking snuck the storage price up to over the months and years that I've had it. They sneak it up. So you sign up at one price. I mean, usually, like they do it £1 a month for the first 3 months. You think, that's a bargain. Next thing, you check in 5 years later. Fuck me, it's about half your mortgage again, right? So,
fucking hell.
So it was a lot of money. I've told you off air. I'm too embarrassed to say on it, right?
You have. It was a lot of money. Yeah.
I'm too embarrassed, and it's not even a big unit. It's one of the smaller units, possibly the smallest. So I've thought, well, this can't stand for a moment longer. Right.
Jalapeño.
So I've decided to hire a van, go up there tomorrow, and clear in my diary. I'm going up there tomorrow. I'm going to load every fucking thing in there into the back of the van, and then I'm going to cancel my contract.
I'm expecting video content for the Turbo subscribers, by the way.
Well, there's some quite interesting stuff in the storage, which will be well worth a little bit of Turbo content.
Here's an idea, right? Here's an idea which you might be asked to do, you might not be asked to do, but if you take some items and then give them away to random audience members at the live shows over the next week. Oh, that's good, yeah. Small items.
Well, it turns out a huge amount of stuff in there, because I'd forgotten what was in there. At the back is a lot of my personal archive. So
personal effects.
There's some interesting stuff in there. There was a couple of articles about job moves that I'd done from the Press Gazette, from the noughties, which were quite entertaining, including one where I'd moved from one magazine to another as editor-at-large, and the editor of the new magazine, this is on the cover of the Press Gazette, has gone, we have hired Sam as editor-at-large, which means he mostly gets to work from home, surfing the internet for dwarf porn, right?
On the front cover
of the Press Gazette in the noughties. Can you believe it?
Anything went then, especially a Press Gazette.
Fucking hell. Anyway, that was funny.
It was like fucking Nuts magazine then.
Few other bits and pieces of that nature, but I found an old show reel from my presenting days, but from the early noughties.
Well, on like a cine film
DVD.
On a DVD.
And I gave it to my son, and he stuck it in the PlayStation, and we watched it. And he was actually... I encouraged my daughter to come and watch it. She watched it for all of 10 seconds, then just... she literally tutted, sighed, and left the room.
Perfect.
Well, I don't know why. I mean, it was just me saying stuff. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, exactly. It was you saying stuff. That was the issue.
My son was quite impressed because it was me hosting Gamer TV, video game review show, which I did for many years, and I'd forgotten that for most of the time it was just a voiceover job where it was like a narrated show, right? But there was a couple of series where I did links in vision, and so it was me reviewing games from the noughties. But he was disappointed to learn that because I sound like I know my stuff, but I said, son, there was not a single word of that I understood. I was reading it off an auto cue.
I had to get some tutelage on pronunciations of some
of the
really
words did,
of the games.
I said, but it was good money, so what are you going to do? So that was quite fun. But listen, most of the stuff in storage is old admin, paperwork files from various old, now defunct businesses, projects and ventures, right? And, you know, like once you've gone, I think it's 6 years you've got to keep your financial records from any company after it's defunct, whatever. But there's fucking loads of it, Andy, and that's going to be the hardest thing to store because a lot of it will be chucked, a lot of it will be taken to dump, some of it will be given to charity, but the bulk of it is paperwork, right? Boxes and boxes and boxes of it. Now, I've got a decent shredder that I bought last year, and members of the Turbo will know that I actually videoed my unboxing of the shredder. Right.
Yes.
That's the sort of quality content you're missing out on if you're not Turbo.
Sign up now.
And it's decent, right? But honestly, the amount of paperwork, Andy, it would take months to shred. So I Googled how can I dispose of documents, which will probably get me a knock from the old bill at one point as well. Because like, if you're Googling how do I dispose of documents, it makes you look well dodgy.
An alarm goes off in your local station.
I literally, like, this is a load of old shit. This is stuff that's not even financially like sensitive. It's just like bullshit stuff, right? Admin, invoicing, blah, whatever. And it's really old. I've got to get rid of it. So I found out two things, right? The first was, obviously there are shredding companies and you can pay them. Yeah. It's a minimum £95 service charge, right? So it's expensive. Right. But they come over, they pick it all up, they take it away, and presumably they shred it. At least that's what they say they do. They might just sell it to Russian identity thieves, of course.
You never know, do you?
But my stuff's not even, like, it's old addresses and whatnot. You know, I think it'd be fine. So I could do that. But even then I thought, well, I'm going to hire a van. That's going to cost about a £1. This is good money after bad, yeah? So then I said, I Googled what's an alternative way to dispose of paperwork and documents that's not shredding. Now, this is when things get really exciting, because the most popular way on the internet to do that is to fill up your bath, right? I'm reading this out to my wife, and she's just shaking her head like, you're not doing this, right? But it's free. You fill up your bath, you put your paperwork in there, right? You fill it half water, half bleach, right?
Acid.
Overnight, you leave it. Then you think, that's it. That's the end of the story. That's quite good. I'm quite into that. No, it gets better. Right?
Oh.
The next day, it's not completely disappeared. Do you know what you do the next day once it's gone all mushy from the water and bleach? You get the hand blender. But wait, wouldn't that electrocute you? Oh no, it's because you hand blend soup all the time. Yeah, so you get the hand blender, and you just reach into the bath and you turn it into a pulpy soup. And then I guess
puppy musher.
Then you just scoop it all out, and I don't know, you go and chuck it in the canal or something. As long as Feargal Sharkey doesn't find out, you're fucking laughing.
Fucking hell! Although he's got a lot of grasses watching all the canals and rivers now.
He's got a whole fucking network. You can't get anything past him.
Fergal's waterways, Lampards are everywhere now.
Knock knock. Sam, there's someone at the door for you. Who is it? He says
he's Irish.
He's Irish, man. He says his name's Feargal Sharkey and he doesn't look happy. Fucking hell.
Fuck.
Tell him I'm not in. I've just gone...
Run out the back door over the fence.
I've done a bunk over the back fence. Sharky's onto me. He's found out about all that pulp I've been dumping in the Thames. You put in 10 years' worth of business accounts, pulped and tipped into the river by Barnes Bridge. How do you plead? You'll never catch me alive, Sharky. I tell you what,
dreams might be hard.
A good heart these days is hard to find, but a little cunt like you, it's a piece of piss to find.
Teenage dreams might be hard to beat, the lady, but I'll find it very easy to beat you when I get my hands on you.
My favourite cousin? I don't think so. You're my least favourite cunt.
Wednesday week, that's when I'm coming for you. I shouldn't have said that.
You little thief. You little polluter, more like.
Oh, I like that though. I mean, I've got a shredder a couple of years ago because I had loads of old bank statements that needed to be disposed of.
Yeah. How long did it take you?
I mean, what I did first was I tore off the name and address bit, because the rest of it on there I wasn't asked about. It's just transaction details. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So I could just chuck that in the recycling. But I shredded the bit with the address and that on. But the shredder just heats up after a certain length of time, and then it stops.
Yeah, I've had
it just
that
goes,
problem.
overheat, will not shred anymore.
That's the thing about domestic shredders. That's why I'm looking into these industrial shredders, because they'll take it away, £100, bang. And like just before lockdown, my wife caught me trying to set fire to it all on the gas barbecue out the back. And I thought, oh, this is easy. I'll just put it all in the barbecue, cover it in lighter fluid, set the barbecue on, close the lid,
whoosh,
bang, all gone. No, it's actually quite difficult. It didn't quite
burn,
take.
does it? For some reason.
It doesn't burn, especially if you put a big pile in it. It'll burn if you put in like one scrunched up sheet at a time, and that's going to take even longer than the shredding. So I guess what we're saying is, if you've got old paperwork and documents, it's as hard to get rid of as it is paint. And we've done several episodes before on the disposal of paint and what a nightmare that is.
Well, there is one question that's coming. We will get round to a listener's question, and that could probably be the one. But I'll get round to that in a minute. It's regarding paint. Here's my suggestion to you, Sam. I know this is trickier in the south of England than it probably is in the north, but travel lodge. Travel lodge, one night. A travel lodge has got a bath in it. Let's say £55 maybe if it's midweek and out of season. And you're in there. You get to stay there, and you can do your water and your bleach and your documents. And then the next morning, do the hand blender. It's cheaper than the company that'll come up and take away.
Only just
shred.
though.
That's £95,
well,
isn't
like
it?
you get a Travelodge on an off day for like £40 or something, I suppose, in London.
Yeah.
And then you got your bleach costs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there is that. Yeah.
Then you got to get
then
you got to eat. You'll be eating, but you can get a meal deal. So a couple of meal deals,
the Tesco meal deal.
Yeah. It sounds like
you
quite a nice
get
little
Indian takeaway with some Poppadoms.
It sounds quite a nice little would you call that a mini break? A spa? It's almost like a spa break.
Feels like it to me. Yeah, it's an arsehole spa break.
It's a working man's spa break, I call it.
I'm sure there's other things
there is
you
like
could do
I suppose you
your
could call it a
time.
flotation tank, but it's not got essential minerals in it. It's just filled with bleach and
Just
old
bleach.
tax returns.
And I'm not getting in it. Yeah, you could do that, I guess. That feels logistically doable.
I tell you what, in all honesty, right, and you know, people might be able to relate to this, is that, all joking aside, it's things like this, they're small, but they can go big in your head. And this has gone big in my head because when I realised the amount of money that was going into storage, I thought, well, this has to end now. But then when you realise the amount of knock-on fucking problems it causes, like the reason we have storage, there's not enough fucking room in the house. So it's like, well, where are we going to put all this stuff? How do you dispose of it? I've got to get rid of it quickly to save money. But then, like, the ripple effects of this situation could go on for weeks or months if I'm not careful.
I was thinking that if you're getting a van for tomorrow, the job ain't going to be done tomorrow.
Well, I reckon one van load will get me out, everything out, right? And then
where's it going to go?
Yeah, then I will be spreading it, right, around, partly in the house. I mean, a lot of it's going to have to come into the Vita Modular, but that might be quite good. That might be quite good for the acoustics in here, mightn't it?
I was just thinking that, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of it will have to go here. I've spoken to my mother-in-law, and my mother-in-law lives alone, but in a house that's got spare rooms, and so
that's good.
So I think some of it can go there, and then the rest. It's like I said.
Doesn't your mum have an attic? You get access to that?
Oh my god! Well, that's a fucking can of worms for starters.
There's not like a gatekeeper there or anything, is there? To stop
Do you
you
know
getting
what?
in the attic?
This puts me in mind of one of our favourite all-time fictional characters, Alan from the Modern Toss TV show, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel I'm getting strong Alan vibes of me turning up in this van outside my mum's house, knocking on the door, and going, and just like when Rod answers, just going, here you go, I ain't got room for this at mine, and just fucking shoving it all onto his doorstep and then whizzing off down the street.
Yeah.
See you, cunt.
Alan, you wanker.
Sam, you wanker.
Yeah. Oh, you'll sort it out, I'm sure. But yeah, video. video for the turbo.
Yeah, well,
you could do that with your Travel Lodge bleaching odyssey.
Yeah, that's
that
true.
That would get new subscribers. You'd offset some of that with the new.
There is a picture of when I was at the storage yesterday. I sent it to you, and on Bank Holiday Monday, it was surprisingly quiet. Like no one was around, and it wasn't even staffed yesterday. Like the doors were open, but there was no human being around in the reception area, and I would have thought Bank Holiday Monday would be a popular storage day, but turns out no.
I thought so. Family trip.
Yeah, exactly. But I was there with my wife, and when we walked through the sort of lobby area where the lifts were down to your storage unit, there's just a huge pallet, right? A huge pallet with about 50 industrial boxes. When I say industrial, I mean like they've come from the cash and carry warehouse of the peanuts. And I thought, is God testing me here? Right, because obviously
with the snack competition you're doing on the turbo.
I'm a huge peanut fan. Everyone knows that about me and you. We're big fans of peanuts. But are there any dads in Britain who aren't peanut fans?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And there was just this huge. I mean, honestly, you saw the picture, although you wouldn't have seen the whole thing, but you saw in the background. It was just boxes and boxes. The brand.
I saw enough.
The brand was VIP Nuts. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
I'm not.
It might be a southern brand. So it weren't. What's the best one again? Well, it's KP or Planters.
Yeah.
Is it Planters, the posh peanut with the top hat on?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that or KP. Like, this is VIP Nuts. I don't know what makes them very important peanuts. Don't know.
Maybe they're new. Maybe they'll be bursting onto the market soon. We're not aware of them yet.
But it was a test because I thought at the very least I should take one box. Like there's no one here checking. But there were. Yeah. I started like cutting with my key at the shrink wrap because they stack all the boxes. Yeah. So say there's like 100 boxes and then there's shrink wrap all around it to keep it in place.
Thick polythene as well over that.
Yeah. So I started using my house key to cut through it, and then my wife turned up. And she was like, what are you doing? I said, I'm not going to take the lot. I'm just going to take one box of peanuts. And she was like, why? And I said, what do you mean why? No one's here guarding the peanuts. They've only got themselves to blame. Who leaves the peanuts fucking unguarded like this on a Bank Holiday Monday? I'm only going to take one box. It won't even matter to them. This is big peanut we're talking about. The profits these cunts make. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable. Imagine how much they're marking each fucking packet of peanuts up, Andy. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to notice one fucking box of peanuts going. Not. But to me, a whole box of peanuts, there's probably about 50 packets in there. That's a month's worth. That's a month's worth of peanuts for a man like me. But she said, look, she just quietly pointed. She went, look, what's that? Security camera. What's that? Security we were surrounded by security cameras. And I thought, I'll be damned if I'm fucking going down again for peanut theft.
Yeah, you can imagine double mug shots of us both. You standing there with a box of peanuts and me with a Poppadom in your mouth.
There you go, like top podcasters both jailed on same weekend for separate snack offences.
Yeah, about to happen.
At opposite ends of the country.
Very quickly, one life logistic from a listener, Chesterfield Zoidberg. I have a life logistics problem around paint disposal, a subject close to your heart.
Yeah.
I can't be arsed with the faff of getting rid of wet paint.
No.
So what's the best way to dry it out?
Oh.
You can get rid of wet paint, can't you? You just take it down the tip and they'll just tell you to chuck it in the general.
You can pay some Polish men. That's what I did.
Oh, that's what you did. And they put it in the canal.
But the problem is there's a lot less Polish men in the country now because of Brexit. So that is just making the disposal of paint even harder. So
I guess just paint a wall with it.
You just got to paint something, and the quickest way to paint a wall is to get the tin. I saw a man do this once when I was a kid, and it had a lasting impact on me. He got a tin of paint, and he went to me, "Want to see how to paint a wall double quick?" Right? And I was just walking. I was just kidding about, right, like being a kid. But he got my attention. And I went,
yeah, of course.
I walked past, sort of like, don't talk to strangers. But then I doubled back. I went, actually, yes, I do. And he went, watch this. And he just picked up a fucking tin of paint and lobbed it at this fucking wall so hard that it exploded over the wall. And it did almost cover the whole wall. And then he did minimum rolling afterwards just to fill out the edges. Corners. And then he looked at me with a smile and a wink and a shrug. Like, There you go, cunt.
Be lucky.
You learned something today, haven't you, you little shitbag? And I was like,
wow.
Cheers, governor, and just went on my way.
Fucking
and I've
hell.
always wanted
There you
to
go.
try that, so I haven't tried it, but because it seemed like he had a really good technique. I'd be worried that I'd accidentally throw the whole tin in my own face or something like that.
Yeah, there is that, yeah.
He was a seasoned decorator.
Yeah. So that's our suggestion there, Chesterfield.
Chuck it at a wall.
All right, that's it from Life Logistics. We'll be back with more or something else next week. Who knows? Thanks for listening and goodbye.
Goodbye.